Another day, another bombshell. And the bombshell, this time, once again, just like it was all those other times, is supposed to be the one that takes Donald Trump out. Michael Cohen pleads guilty to lying to Congress, and Russiagaters all over the place scream, "We got him! We got him! This is it! This is the bombshell that's gonna do it! Michael Cohen is gonna take Trump out with a stretcher. This is the thing that's finally got him." The problem is, when you actually read the articles, that's not necessarily where we are, and this information was released prior. First, before I start, if you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support it through Patreon. They demonetize like crazy, so any help to the channel is appreciated. My wife likes to say even $1 helps, and she's absolutely right by that. But let's get into this story. So Michael Cohen pleads guilty. And in his allocution, he says that they were essentially, Trump was considering building a tower in Moscow. And this supposedly was previously unreported. Apparently, nobody looked at BuzzFeed, because BuzzFeed has already announced what they're saying is a bombshell, and they announced this back in May 17, 2018. All right. Now, when you go to the New York Times piece, Mr. Cohen admitted that the discussions about Trump Tower, Moscow, went for at least 6 months after he told Congress that they ended. They lasted until at least 2016, June 2016, when Mr. Cohen met in New York with an associate who had been trying to arrange his trip to Russia and told him he would not be traveling at that time, quote, documents said. Mr. Cohen said on Thursday that he discussed the status of the project with Mr. Trump on more than 3 occasions than he had previously acknowledged, and briefed Mr. Trump's family member about it. That's what we're talking about. All right. Now, just so we're clear, and just so we've repositioned ourselves so we know where we are, the origin of all of this started with supposedly Trump and Russia collusion, where Russia was trying to collude in order to help Trump win the election. That's where all of this started. And the scope of this has slid all the way from Russia was helping Trump get elected to Trump had a business deal in Russia. I can believe that Trump had a business deal in Russia. I said early on that if anything you would catch him on, it would be some kind of business deal in Russia, because he's a businessman, and as a businessman will be trying to make business deals with who's ever going to give him money. And if that just so happens to be in Russia, then that just so happens to be in Russia. Fair enough. Okay. But what does that have to do with Trump and Russia collusion? I mean, even Mueller, when he indicted the sad indictments of the Facebook and Twitter ads, even that, under that motto, it wasn't in order to necessarily get Trump elected. It was just to sow divisions in the country, at least based on what they were saying. You know, they were supporting all across the board. The New York Times asserts, at various points, even in the beginning, Trump and Russia collusion, and then builds off the assertion that Russia was trying to help Trump get elected. Donald Trump was more involved in discussions over a potential Russia business deal during the presidential campaign than previously known, his former lawyer Michael Cohen said Thursday on pleading guilty to Congress, lying to Congress. Mr. Trump associates pursued the project as a Kremlin was escalating, right here, as the Kremlin was escalating its coverage as the election sabotage meant to help him get elected. Again, that's an assertion. That's an assertion. I'm sorry, that's an assertion. You have not demonstrated that A, Russia hacked the election. It was more inclined to believe it was a leak, not a hack. And just because Hillary Clinton lost and threw out this narrative of Trump and Russia and everybody starts buying into the Trump and Russia thing, doesn't necessarily mean that it's real. There's been nothing, nothing to nail down that Russia was working to get Trump elected. This is a conspiracy theory. Now, we're having 2 separate conversations here. And understand what I mean by that. The first conversation of Trump and Russia collusion, that's conspiracy theory. I don't buy it. Until you show me something concrete, I don't necessarily buy it. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Have you demonstrated it? No. It's a lot of people who have sour grapes that Hillary Clinton lost and have every incentive in the world to push a particular narrative to try to delegitimize Trump's win and simultaneously give Hillary Clinton a pass on her losing to reality show hosts. Right there. Everybody has an incentive in this, in pushing this narrative. On the second part, though, would I believe that Trump had business dealings in Russia? Yes, I can believe that. Would I believe that he wouldn't necessarily tell Congress about that stuff? Yes, I can believe that too. Meaning, I can believe that they would lie around business dealings. But it needs to be a very clear demarcation point between a businessman having business dealings in Russia that was undisclosed versus Trump colluding with Russia to get elected. The first one, they haven't established. The second one, I can believe it, seeing as Trump was trying to get money from whoever he can get money from. I just want to make that clear. I see people, all these people with the, we got him stuff. Chris Hayes put out a tweet saying, people will look back on this day as something. No, you won't. Any more than when Joy Behar started screaming, "We got him!" and then came back the next day. Oh, sorry, it's not what we didn't get him. We didn't get him. All of this started under the premise of Trump working with Russia to get elected. Let's not forget that. Let's lose sight of that, but that's where that started. And when the narrative slips and slides in this kind of hazy thing of collusion so they can try to stick whatever, yeah, you're not sticking this particular part in. I am the person who said, I want to see Trump's tax returns. I don't think you should be able to get into presidency without people being able to see and evaluate your business dealings before you got into president, to see if you have any kind of any conflict of interest in that process. I was a person that didn't like any notion of a person maintaining their business ties while being president any more than I like Hillary Clinton maintaining her ties to her Clinton Foundation while she was Secretary of State. I dislike all of this. I think all of this is corrupt. I don't like corruption in the government system itself. I don't want money in politics, and I don't want particular political actors beholden to anybody other than the voters. That's where I am. That's where I've always been. So no, I don't like the business dealings with Russia, with before the election. No, I don't like that this stuff was hidden before getting elected. By the same token, there is a difference between this and Trump working with Russia to get elected. I'm sorry, you don't got him. You may get him on some kind of financial stuff, and even here, I'm sketchy on whether or not you got him. Let's take a listen to Trump. Trump talks about Cohen. And, I think Trump lies as easily as he breathes. But on this, I think he is right.
Jail sentence. He's a weak person. And by being weak, unlike other people that you watch, he was given a fairly long jail sentence. And he's a weak person. And by being weak, unlike other people that you watch, he's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. So he's lying about a project that everybody knew about. I mean, we were very open with it. We were thinking about building a building. I guess we had in a form, it was an option. I don't know what you'd call it. I decided ultimately not to do it. When I run for president, that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to do business. I was doing a lot of different things when I was running.
I hope you guys can hear that. And let me see. Let me know if you couldn't hear that. Could you guys hear that? I just want to make sure before I proceed. Look, I'm inclined to agree with him on this. Essentially, they started a business deal when he was running for president. As they were running for president, the business deal proceeded, and they made a decision not to go along with the business deal for whatever reason. Now, I'm sketchy on this thing of running for president while doing business deals. That just seems magnificently corrupt to me. But Russia and Trump collusion, this is not. I'm sorry, this is not. They're looking for anything to get Trump on. If you want to make a note for anything that got Hillary Clinton a loss, Let's look at the stuff that Republicans were doing in the various states. That is more inclined to why you lost this election, not to mention your name was Hillary Clinton, so that didn't help. Not to mention cheating Bernie Sanders and picking Tim Kaine and not extending yourself essentially to the lefties and a bunch believing that you're just going to get run-of-the-mill Republicans because they're going to be so against Trump. I'm sorry, you were wrong and you lost, and you need to own that. And the bitter enders in the media and the bitter enders that are the rabid Hillary supporters that can't justify, can't ration, don't understand why she lost. And the Democratic Party in no way wants to have any level of autopsy to make that determination. They want to scream Trump and Russia and say that the status quo candidate didn't lose because she was, the hated candidate. She lost for other reasons. This is similar to what Republicans did with Obama. Oh, he's a Kenyan. Oh, he's this or he's that. It's nonsense. The woman lost. Deal with the issues from the standpoint of the Republicans that cheated her. If Russia is on that list, it is far, far down that list. I can name like 5 or 6 things that had more of an impact in Clinton losing that race than Russia. This is what they're using to fill the air so they don't have to deal with real things that are afflicting the government itself. And what I mean by that is the level of poverty that's in the country. Do you know Hillary Clinton, and I'm going to end this, but she goes out, she gives a speech, and she says Europe needs to get a handle of its immigration issues because it's causing kind of chaos in the country. Missing the fact that this goes beyond immigration. Yes, right-wingers make hay of immigration, but they can make a hell of a lot more hay of immigration when the people themselves are in difficult situations, which is what takes place in America. I mean, what? The average wage is $30,000 in the richest country on the planet. You have wealth going through the roof, with 95% of it going to the top 1%. You have healthcare expenses going through the roof, even after Obamacare was passed, not to mention education expenses. And the political class in no way deals with these real issues that affect real people. They're fucking around with Trump and Russia stuff. That's why I hate this argument, because this argument doesn't deal with why your candidate actually lost. This is the stone that the people are trying to jump to in order to avoid the water of real shit that is accumulated from not dealing with real issues that affect real people. I'll end this here. I don't want this one to go too long. Let's see. Who's here? Truly, both parties purge and cheat. Yes, both parties purge and cheat. Sanders in the primaries and the Republicans in the general. The catch of the matter is, you lose me immediately. And as a Democrat, if you're complaining about suppression of the vote when you did the exact same thing in the primaries, you lose me. Any notion of cheating, you lose me. Because it comes across as bullshit. Ultimately, you're okay with doing this when it serves your ends, but then when the Republicans do it to you or you lose by it, you're outraged. I don't care. Sucks for you. I'm not a Democrat. Those are your issues, not my issues. Ultimately, I don't want cheating in any part of the political process. I don't want people bought in any part of the political process, be it Democrat or Republican. In fact, of the matter is both of them are guilty on this front. The Russiagate stuff is nonsense. If you want to say that Trump had business dealings, fair enough. I would maybe even agree with you. If you want to say that Trump worked with Russia in order to win, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. All right, guys. I'll see you in a few.